What's good, everybody? It's your man Big Don coming live and at you another True Players podcast, another episode on this wonderful podcast. I know you guys haven't heard from me in about 2 weeks' time, but I was going through some things trying to create more new content for the podcast. I got my man Joey G. You guys know him. He's been a guest host on a few times on this podcast. So Joey G, let him know what it is.
What's going on? This is man Joey G out here in the True Players podcast. Once again, is co-hosting. Look forward to talk to you a little bit about child support and see how that plays off with y'all.
Definitely. This subject on child support hits me to the core, not because I've been charged with child support, but I know close friends, family members, and who've been taken advantage of by this child support system. And don't get it twisted, because a lot of these females are going to think we think that they don't deserve child support for their child. That's not what we're trying to say. We're trying to say that we want to ensure that the child support is going to the child, and going to the child's care, its upbringing, its food, clothing, all that fun stuff that the child needs to survive. And all the things that the child needs to survive the proper way, according to the money that's been given out to assist that. And that's one thing we want to point out first and foremost. We were supposed to have a child support expert on the podcast episode, but he couldn't make it today due to other commitments. We will have him on the next part 2 of this. This is going to be a part 2, part 3, because I feel this is a very important subject, not just for the guys who are under the scrutiny of child support, but also for the ladies who are not receiving the full amount that they would be getting if they had just sat there and negotiated with the father about what the child needs, how much the child needs. But one of the complaints I hear from the females, Joe, is that they have custodial care of the child, in which they need a lot more money to raise the child. Custodial care is by choice, in my opinion.
Right.
You could share the custodial share with the father if he's open to that. Now, if he's open to that, then all bets are off. You go after him as hard as you can.
Mm-hmm.
The fact of the matter is, it takes 2 to make a baby, not 1.
Correct.
Let's get that out the frame. Get that over with.
All right.
If we do want to sit there and have sex unprotected, and cream pie your ass, you best believe you better be there to raise this child, not just financially, emotionally, spiritually.
Right.
If he doesn't do all three of those things, go after his ass.
Right.
So there's a lot of good guys who are actually doing right by their kids, who are getting screwed over by the court system and screwed over by jilted baby mamas.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, Joe, what do you think about that, man?
I mean, there's a lot of I'm going to say there's a lot of jilted parents that are collecting child support at this current time, and they use their children as leverage in these situations. I mean, yes. A parent is subject to child support. Support meaning across the board, financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, being in that child's life, that's supporting them. Right. On those various different occasions, a parent should be there in those occasions. There shouldn't be leverage where if one parent is not giving monetary monies needed, or he can't afford to give the monetary monies, that the child should be used as leverage in visitation, or they can't see their children until the money is presented. That's a lot of the cases that I've seen with different parents that I've talked to, and people that I know that have been through the same situation. I'm trying to exclude myself as far as my true feelings on the whole situation, and trying to be objective and more generalized in this situation, because personally I know how this affected me, and it can take a toll on you. And not only you, but you get into a new relationship, you get into a marriage, mm-hmm. and it affects that also. Mm-hmm. Because the money's dictated for your family now, mm-hmm. it trickles over.
Right.
And it commands your budget.
Right.
For your new family.
Right.
Yes, it's a part of the whole, but at the same time, it's dictating what goes on in your family over here through a system, as opposed to a person. A person, me and you can make an agreement. We can put things on the table, and it'll be a set amount. When it comes to outside sources. Now they want to dictate, oh, well, now we get a late fee, and now we want you to pay a fee, uh, a fee on top of another fee. So we have
Mm-hmm.
a processing fee, and then we have a systematic fee. So we're getting charged with all these fees going through a third party, and you're not receiving the full amount.
Exactly. But what I understand through someone who I spoke to, she for her 3 kids, she's only getting $25 per child.
No, well,
So it's like, yeah, you
it's
want to go through a third party, but the third party is not, it's not looking out for you, it's not looking out for the child, it's not looking out for anybody but the private entity that they represent.
correct.
So, um,
The economics of the system does not make sense. You can sit there and try to break it down if you want to. You could do the math. I know a
mhm,
lot of math people's out there. You could try to break it down. It's not going to make sense to you.
right,
Monetarily, monetarily, or how people function inside the family, it doesn't work for the current system. It doesn't work.
exactly. Exactly. It doesn't work. It's unfair to both parties. I could hit you with two different examples of what happened. I had a coworker who got sick, had some issues, and which he couldn't work for about a year.
Right.
And during that time period, he submitted proof to the court that he's on disability, he can't work due to the illness that he was suffering with for about a year, and his license got suspended. Now, your license gets suspended by a private company who has no business controlling your license.
Right.
And
It's not a state. It's not a
not
state or government office.
no, it's not. Absolutely not. It's a private entity.
It's a
Debt
private
collection.
entity.
It's a debt collection agency. Basically,
Correct.
what child support is, and the fact of the matter is, he got his license suspended, which I don't agree with. If you
Mhm.
want to go after somebody for child support, how is he going to go to work if his license is suspended?
Correct.
What's the how does that make any sense?
It's not making sense. If you want a person to go to work and pay their child support, they need those tools. I need my
Mhm.
license so I
Right,
can go get the job, or I can go to work, or I can keep my current job, have my insurance be concurrent so I can get a job to pay the child support. So that it doesn't make sense why you would restrict somebody on that. If I understand restricting a person's passport, I
hmm
understand that because they may skip the country. It's like F the child support altogether. I get that. But
right, right,
to take somebody's license and suspend it for the process of child support for payment, it doesn't make sense to me. You wouldn't do that to a college student for not paying his tuition
right.
or his
Or
or defaulting on a loan for college. You wouldn't do that. So how's this any different from that?
it's not different,
I
but
mean, financially, it's still a debt. it's
exactly,
it's still a
exactly.
debt.
Exactly, but the thing that bothers me, in which is going to offend a lot of females by me
Mhm.
stating this, and if it offends you, that means you're a culprit of the problem.
Right.
Reason being is that you're going to go you when there's some women who will go into court, tell the judge that they're not getting enough child support
Hmm.
because their living arrangements has changed.
Right.
Mind you, they're sitting on their ass,
Hmm.
not working,
Hmm.
using the child support not to clothe the child, not to provide the child with toiletries, clothing, books
Hmm.
for school. You whatever you want to, you could use the money for. They're using it to buy their liquor. They're using it to pay their car notes. They're using
Right.
it to you know buy their weed. You know what I'm saying? Take care of another man with the child support. I've seen that happen. I've
Yeah.
seen it happen. This is not if you're a female listening to this podcast and you get offended by that, but get offended by that, check this out. Check out my caption on my podcast. We hold no punches here.
No.
You will be offended, and we don't care. And this is a serious subject that in which it screws people,
Yeah.
especially screws the minority community, who always seem to be stuck in this child support madness, this child support matrix.
I mean, bottom line for me is the children are affected the most out of the situation, whether both parents agree or disagree, whatever the case may be. The
Right.
children are affected in this situation because they're used as leverage, one way or
Right.
the other.
Right.
Um, that's like the biggest thing. The secondary thing on this is the an agreement between one parent and another should be put on the table, and y'all agree on a certain amount, and that should be the end of it. Now, we can't go over in a time if a person gets a better job and be like, oh, I want more money. How's that?
Mm.
It's how is that fair in the situation? If we agreed upon something to begin with and you
Mm-hmm.
change up later on, come on.
Mm-hmm.
We both know as a person, as a payer or a payee, we both know how much a child is needing of certain things, toiletries, things of that nature, as far as what you need to support a child. That can be negotiated between each other. Now,
Mm-hmm.
all this being said, outside of that,
Right.
let's say the child support is being paid. Child support is being paid. They're getting the monies that they're rewarded and things of that nature. On the outside of that, they may have other people and family members that are giving them in that situation. So not only
Exactly.
are you getting assistance from that, the
Mm-hmm.
system, the public assistance of the government or state that you're in, you're getting public assistance there. You're getting assistance from the family. These are undocumented things, and they're considered quote unquote gifts. They're not considered assistance in that situation.
I don't know. I don't know about you. Last time I checked, isn't it necessary for a person, a human being, to have clothes on their back?
It's a necessity. That's a
How's it?
given.
How is that a gift?
It's considered a gift. Any monies outside of the agreement of child support, it's considered a gift, quote unquote.
Again,
So
can I?
groceries, paying for somebody's groceries,
Mm-hmm.
paying for somebody's transportation to and from
Mm-hmm.
school,
Mm-hmm.
um, and little extra monies here and there, it's
Mm-hmm.
considered a gift.
Listen, they even consider. I don't know if this is true or not. They even consider that if the child's under the father's insurance, health insurance policy, that's considered a gift too.
I currently I know that the in a situation like that, let's say, well, I can use mine in this situation. If
Mm-hmm.
I'm paying, or if my child is on a medical plan,
Right.
how's it benefiting my child if she's in another state? How is it benefiting my child being in another state? I mean,
It it
I could pay to put her on my policy. I know that she's covered when she's with me,
right.
but if she lives in another state,
Mm-hmm.
why is she on my plan? Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Let me retort. Let me object to that question, and I agree with you somewhat, but somewhat, but I agree with you somewhat, but I disagree also. Reason being that no matter what state the child is in, the child does need health insurance, needs
It's
dental coverage.
correct,
Um, However,
but you
you
know that
know
they have to find the doctors within that area that work under your plan.
exactly that's something that they can
That,
Google. If the mother is savvy enough and smart and savvy, just I'm not gonna say smart enough, savvy enough and selfless enough to do the Google it, she can Google it.
right.
That's all I'm saying. That's public record.
It's
You just put in the doctor's name on Google, find out. You get ZocDoc or whatever that shit is. You'll know exactly what insurances that they take. There's no excuse for that. No
right.
excuse for that. Period.
But,
Um,
but there are rebuttals on that.
it's- you
You know, there's always a rebuttal on that. I know. Me and you, we can agree on this situation. We could sit there and agree with it, but there's always a rebuttal on that.
I will agree with you on the situation, and I'm not in. Like I said, I don't have a child yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I wouldn't say I avoided situations that God has dictated, has saved me from that aspect of having child support because the female I was dealing with, um, terminated the children. But it was child support while the baby was in her stomach because she would ask me for money every time she saw me. I gave it to her. But I did question what she was going to do with that money since it was my money coming out of my pocket. I want to ensure that my kid that's in my zygote that's in a placenta
Right.
are safe.
Right.
Safe. She wanted to use my weed. You know, and she got upset when I asked her what was she going to do with the money.
Right.
And as a person who you asking money for, I have a right to ask the question. But
Right.
you came to me.
Right. I don't think that's comprehended in this situation. If you're asking me for money, I have a right to know what it's going to be used for. Whether you're telling me the truth or not,
Right.
I don't know personally. I'm not going to follow you to the store. I'm not going to ask for a receipt.
Right.
But courtesy would be, in that situation, I'm using this money for this, and whatever the case may be. Oh, okay, cool. So I don't feel obligated in a situation where I'm more comfortable with the situation. We don't want to just part from money that we're throwing money on the ground or just throwing it away. If you have personal habits that you want to partake in and things of that nature, there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody has their part-time thing that they do, but that shouldn't come out of the child support that you're given. You're given for the child. The child should be benefiting from the money that is being put into the household. Now, we can see that money being used for a roof over your head, utility bills, things of that nature, keeping your phone on. I can say, okay, those situations we can agree with in that. Food, clothing, school supplies, dwelling over your head. Yeah, I can see all those different aspects of the money's being divvied up into those areas. If you don't get the amount that you need for that, I'm going to say that maybe you need to try another venue to get money.
Maybe you need to sit down with your child's father and discuss this without the third-party agency involved.
That would be beneficial to the both of you to do that discussion. That would be the ultimate compromise would be to sit across the table from each other and come up with a term of agreement that you both are comfortable with, that you can give the monies and move from that point. Now, if you're going to renege on the deal, both parties, if you're going to renege on the deal, that's y'all problem.
Right.
You want to bring the third party in, that's when you get the money divided up a little bit more. If we bring a third party in this, they're going to monetize the whole situation. One person is going to feel like they're being taken advantage of, while the other one sits there with their hand out talking about it's not enough.
But when is it? Let me ask you a good question. I'm gonna ask these females a question. When is it enough for them? Is it enough for them when the guy is living in a one room house with roaches crawling and rats crawling up in there? When he owned his own house, when he owned his own condo, he had a better apartment that he was paying $1,600 a month for 2 bedrooms, with 1 bedroom for him, 1 bedroom for the child that comes over when he has custodial custody of the child.
Right.
Now you because you want to be spiteful.
Right.
You want to go back to court, sue for more child support. Now he's not living in a one bedroom room, paying $500-$600 a month with total strangers walking around the house who you don't know who's a pedophile or not.
Correct.
So how are you as a mother looking out for your child if you're going to subject their father to that situation?
Right. I say that comes into effect also with these situations, because everybody doesn't handle the situation the way it needs to be handled. 2 people should be able to sit down. 2 parents should be able to sit down and discuss the finances of their children without getting upset. It's not
about you.
It's not a debate. It's not really a discussion.
It's about the child.
It's about the child. It needs to be sat down, discussed openly, and put the money on the table, and that should be the end of it. It should be an open book. If you're willing to do that as parents on the day-to-day living together, why is that so much of an issue? Because you feel this person is going to leave you for somebody else, or their life is turning out to be better now that they're away from you and things of this nature. That's spiteful things that shouldn't even be equated in this type of conversation. I've seen co-parenting done in a manner where the parents take up each other's slack.
Right.
It's already agreed upon. Like if one parent, that we'll say child support, but it's an agreement between the two parents. If one person is doing this for taking care of school supplies and making sure they get to and from practice, and the other person is buying clothing and this, that, and the third, if they're taking up the slack for each other, why isn't that not a good co-parenting situation? Why isn't that not enough in that situation? Because they're both supporting the child in that situation. Right. Yeah,
exactly.
A person on child support would probably get more money if they went to court and went through all those situations. Yes, they would probably get more money, but who's benefiting in this in the long run? That child is benefiting more from the parents working together for that child to get the support he or she needs to get through the day to day.
Exactly. But let me hit you up on one thing, bro. The key is having both parties work together to get this done.
I mean
that is the underlying issue that'll never be solved, no matter if it's the female's fault or the guy's fault.
You know what's funny about that situation? If you go to court, you don't see a judge. You see a mediator.
Mm-hmm. The mediator who works for the agency.
Right. It's a mediator. It has the same type of respect the judge does in this situation because it's like a courtroom situation. But it's a person. It's kind of like having a divorce. You have somebody in the room that's trying to referee the situation. Referees are not always fair. Right. Referees can be biased.
Exactly.
Referees can also be impartial.
Arbitrators too.
In the end, they're not in the best interest of, they say, the child. If it was in the best interest of the child, a lot of these cases would be thrown out. A lot of the parents would be switched. The custodial parents would be switched to non-custodial parents. And I believe that the children would be in a better position. But that's just a personal thought on that.
But let me explain. Let me hit the people who listen to True Players podcast. But the system favors the woman.
Oh, 9 times out of 10, yes.
99.9% it favors the woman.
9 out of 10 times.
She would have to be an abusive parent on crack, alcoholic. No, you should get your hands on the child. But listen. I'm gonna hit up the brothers too, because this is a problem. Well, amongst the brothers, I've seen brothers do some evil shit to the point that they go tell the baby mama who they were married to, or they had multiple kids with, to leave that woman for another woman and go tell that mother, that first child he had children with, you go ahead and do social services, have them help you out with that. What kind of motherfucker is that anyway? What kind of motherfucker is that? That's your child. You want to tell your wife to go to a third party to take care of your fucking child?
It's coming for you anyway. If you're gonna ask them to go to the agency, the first thing the agency is gonna do, a child support agency or other whatever agency out there that you get assistance from, because every state varies. So I'm not getting into that. You go into the agency and be like, I need assistance. The first question they're going to ask is, where is the other parent? Where is the other parent? And why aren't you not getting money from this person? We can help you with that. Let me get their name. Let me get the social.
Game over. Game over.
Oh, this person signed the birth certificate. Now, you don't have to be a biological in this situation. If you're smart, I'm going to say smart enough to sign the birth certificate and put your signature on the birth certificate, being the biological or not, you're obligated.
Well, that's something that's not fair. That's not fair either.
It's not fair.
Because I've been Me personally, I've been in that situation. I've been in a situation where I raised a child for 12 years, and when I come to find out, DNA said it wasn't my child.
That's unfortunate in those situations, but it does happen.
It happens.
It happens in those situations because you have certain women that string men along like that.
Mm-hmm.
Certain women will put you in that position, and they'll string men along in that. But
it was so bad, bro. My father cut a check for. I'm not gonna disclose the amount, but it was a substantial amount just to keep the check from going to child support. My father came in with the lawyers with a blanket amount that I'm not going to share with the people on Truth Tales podcast. I said, listen, you can't sue for child support because I'm giving you this much right now.
Right, up front.
The lawyer's right here. You better sign this contract.
Up front.
Now, if you were to sue my son for child support, you must return that money.
Right.
That's contingency. She kept her mouth shut. You know the amount of money that she got. Trust and believe. I wouldn't say she could live, lavishly, but it was enough to hold it down for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
If used wisely.
Budget. That's what it boils down to anyway. A lot of people complain about the amounts that they get. Budgeting comes into play in that.
Right. But
now, speaking of budgeting, if you have a household,
right.
If you have a household, you have a budget within that household. Adding another person in that situation doesn't change the budget of the household. It changes how you divvy up the monies in that household. The money is still going to flow in the same way it was flowing before. Now, how you divide that up, as far as eating out, eating at restaurants, going for little vacations or trips here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Your little expenditures as far as alcohol, cigarettes, and otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it changes. The money changes because you need to find out how to divide this money up now. There's another mouth to feed. Yes, we're going to need to divide the money that we have originally in the household.
Right.
So adding to that, if you're saying, okay, this person is giving me, I'll say $75 a month or every 2 weeks. I'll say $75 every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If he's giving you that amount of money to help in that, that means that $75 every 2 weeks should be divided amongst those things.
Right.
It should be adding to the money that's coming into the household.
Right.
Which means you have to budget accordingly.
Exactly. And it's funny because let me tell you a story about one of our mutual friends. He was taking the child, so he was taking the family court.
Mm-hmm.
He brought all his receipts.
Mm-hmm.
This woman already had, I think, three kids with 3 different baby daddies.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
And the judge looked at the girl like she had 3 heads. Said, "This man is doing more than what I was going to award you in child support. What are you doing in my courtroom?"
Right.
He was forking over $800 a month, on top of providing clothing for the child.
The cap is $500.
Give him $800.
The cap is $500.
And the truth be told, this dude was lavishing his child in Tim's.
Mm-hmm.
The new Jordans. Every new Jordan that came out, that child had it. Plus the $800 a month he paying for this chick. It's part of the child. This chick had to go back to court and ask for more.
Mm-hmm.
The judge threw that shit out within 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't want you back in this courtroom to defend for more child support ever again. I'll arrest you. Extortion.
for wasting extortion and wasting my time.
Exactly. And that's why the guys who do the right thing need to save every single receipt that they have.
All right. I'm going to say this. Let me say this because that's also a smart way to look at the situation. The situation, truthfully, we need to teach our sons and teach our daughters how to choose their partner correctly.
I was just about to say that.
How to choose their partner correctly. Because if you choose your partner correctly, you wouldn't be going through all this situation.
No.
There wouldn't be an argument. You wouldn't have to go through these things. There would be everything would already be set. You wouldn't even have to go through half of this stuff.
No. And also, they need to stop looking for, as far as us, we need to stop looking for exit strategies before the relationship gets hot.
Right.
That's the problem with relationships. This is another topic I want to hit on with the True Players podcast about marriage and relationships. I'm going to touch on that extensively.
It's called Stop Running.
Stop running. I mean, sometimes there are times that relationships do not work out. We understand that. If the relationship does not work out, it's because of God's will. Right. You know what I'm saying? Just move on, do the right thing. If you so happen to have a child together, do the right thing by the child and keep it moving. Keep it pushing.
Right.
There's no need to go to court and try to slander somebody because he don't want to be with you or she don't want to be with you anymore.
Right.
Or you stop on the woman's side, they want to take the guy's money because she's not with her. The guys don't want to pay child support, but she doesn't want to be with her anyway.
Right.
That whole bullshit is to stop because that's the problem in our community. That's why our community has broken families.
Right.
That mentality is not just child support. Child support contributes hefty nail to that coffin of our community of poor family structure.
Right.
And just broken families altogether.
Right.
Especially in the minority culture. You know what I'm saying? We need to stop, fantasizing about cream pie fantasies. You know what I'm saying? Stop watching porno flicks and watch cream pie fantasies. Cream pie fantasies does lead to pregnancy. Okay? And for all you people who don't believe in abortion, okay? All you females who don't believe in abortion, who engage in cream pie fantasies. Now, let's not go to court when the guy does not want to be with you to rape him for child support. That's your bad too.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like it? I don't give a fuck. Play his podcast. Keep your belly up with this motherfucker. Got a problem with what I say? Feel free to email me. I'll leave the email at the end of the podcast. Hit me up. I'll let you on the show. We go at it. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying it because from my experience, how I was raised as a man.
Right.
This is a man by my father. Yes, did he have children outside of before my mom met my mom? Yes, he did. One thing he did was provide for all the children he had.
Mm-hmm.
Even the ones who told me get the fuck out of his face, get the fuck out of their face, still provided. You know what I'm saying? Because that's his duty. That's his responsibility as a man. Take care of your fabric. Children are your fabric.
Right.
Your children are your legacy.
I mean, there's when it comes to your children, emotions, your emotions don't matter anymore.
Right.
Your emotions in the situation don't matter no more. That's taken out of the equation. If you're going to put your emotions in the situation, I'm going to tell you right now, prepare to get your feelings hurt.
Basically. And the thing is too that we all teach our child to live the right way, live in the path of Jesus Christ, who I know has been Yeshua ben Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know that Jesus' real name. Not the Greek name they gave him. Jesus. Yeshua ben Joseph. Living this path is, and the commandments that left by Moses. Mm-hmm. Honor thy mother, honor thy father.
Mm-hmm.
If you as a parent is doing the right thing by your child, and that child is dishonoring you, but not allowing you in their life, God will handle them. Trust and believe that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't react. You don't show vengeance towards that child. Just keep doing the right thing. Because God got your back. You did right as a parent.
Right.
God will not have your back if you don't support your child mentally, financially, and spiritually. He will not have your back.
Mm-hmm.
That's for all those deadbeat motherfuckers out there who don't take care of their child.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one thing, bro. I've seen a situation. There was a chick I dated late last year, and we're still friends now. But we're still cool, but we didn't work out. But we're still friends. She tells me her shit. Her baby daddy sued her for custody and won because she didn't stay at home to watch her child. This female has her own house that she has to pay mortgage for.
Mm-hmm.
She has 2 other children that she also has to fend for. So basically, he told the judge that she wasn't there to raise the child. He won. Miraculously, he won. Mm-hmm. And the child's a girl, is a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
We all know how judges feel. As how I feel personally as a person is being the outside looking in. Not the fact that I date her or not. I feel that a daughter should be with her mother. no matter what.
Yeah, a father should be with his son,
Father should be with the son.
and it's just more of a molding situation than that. Fabric wise, I feel like yes, you need both parents, but a daughter should be influenced more by their mother, and son should be more influenced by their father.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. And the thing is, this situation with this dude was spiteful. Mind you, she's black
Mm-hmm.
American. He's from Guyana, the Indian Guyana.
Mm-hmm.
He already came with the idea that he was better than her anyway because he was Indian.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's also dynamic. Also,
Right.
that's why when people say keep everything black, that's one of the reasons why they tell you to keep it black.
Mm-hmm.
Someone outside the race who come with this impression that they're better than you because they conform to the white man. That's just why they're better than you. They conform.
Yeah.
When you conform to the master, you'll get more.
Mm-hmm.
And we as black people don't like to conform
Mm-hmm.
because we don't buy the bullshit. I mean, that was. I'm not labeling all non-black Western people that. This her situation is exactly what it was.
Mm.
I met the dude, nasty motherfucker.
Mm.
Didn't know how to talk to her, trash her in front of her daughter. Who? First of all, whether it's a mother or a father, you do not trash the other to your child, around your child, or behind your child's back. That is a mortal sin.
Right.
No matter what that person has done to you make sure you hold that person who you made a child with in a good light around your child.
Mm-hmm.
That is your job.
Right.
You later with that person's child, so you might as well keep him in a better light, no matter how he treats you.
Right.
I've seen instances with females around their family. Maybe daddy come over, even though he's a shit anyway. Go on a rampage and just trash her in front of her family members.
Mm-hmm.
Sport. That's wrong.
What are you teaching the child?
Guess what? The son is influenced.
The child is influenced.
He wants nothing to do with daddy.
Why? Because it's what respect would a child have for you in that situation?
Granted, bro. He's a shitty ass father. Granted, what she said is true, but what it is that you're adding to the fire, adding to the flames. And now what you're doing is now, as a mother, teaching him, son,
it's okay.
It's okay to hate your father.
Yeah.
Watch when he has a child, the child's going to be that favorite to him. So.
Right.
It's going to stop.
It's going to be a continued cycle in that.
Let me continue the cycle.
Now, I put myself personally in this situation. I've learned over the years how to talk to my children's mother.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned how to talk to them, regardless of how we interact with each other. I know how to talk to them in a manner where it's respectful, and they have to respect the situation. Moving forward, we can co-parent because we learned how to talk to each other, and this is for the benefit of our children as well as the benefit of us.
Right.
It's easier to work with another parent that's sitting there talking to you. If you have to use a third party to do so, just to keep it civil as far as the dynamic, then so be it.
All right, bro. We're gonna cut this podcast for a little bit. I'll hit you guys up in a second. Hold on, guys. What's good, everybody? It's your man Big Don. We back with Joey G.
What's going on?
We talking about child support and stuff like that, all that good stuff. And like I said, we were talking about the slander of parents to the child. I've seen situations in my own family. I have a situation in which one parent turned the child against the other parent because they're having issues. That's unacceptable. Your child, like I said, it takes two people to put a child in this world. The child owes both parents the same respect.
Correct. One parent should not have more respect than the other parent.
Listen,
It
the
should be
child.
equally divided. Now, I have to say this. For the parents that are not there in the child's life, yes, a child's going to have a different view, but
Mhm,
they should be able to have respect for the parent.
mhm,
That's like you would any other adult
mhm,
in a situation. If your child can have respect for a teacher, a doctor, whatever, a person in the street, they should have some type of respect for their parent in the
mhm.
same manner. No disrespect should come from a child to their parent,
Right,
whether the other parent agrees or disagrees in that situation. It
right.
that should never be. It should never be that, because that same amount of disrespect you allow your child to do, they'll do it to somebody else, and then that's passed on to the next child. I don't agree with that.
And the thing is that whatever issues your parents have, the child needs to stay the fuck out of it anyway. It's not their problem, not the issue. It's amongst the parents.
A child has no place in adult conversations.
Absolutely not. And
A child should
the
no.
parents should not include them in the conversation either.
No. That's
Keep them
not.
out of it.
They're not a colleague. They're not a friend. They're or anything of that nature. They're a child. They shouldn't be included in those situations. Now, as a young adult, it's still the same thing applies, but there's certain things you can include them in, and certain things you should not include them in,
Right.
because there's a time for explanation. A child of a young adult should be there should be some type of explanation to a child in that situation, but it varies on what we're talking about in those conversations.
True. True. True.
I try to
Yeah.
be. I'll tell you from my personal experience with my daughter.
Hmm.
Um, I try not to hold no punches with
Right.
her.
Right.
I try to put everything on the table, and sometimes it comes across. My wife tells me I have to uh, tighten up,
Right.
because it comes across like I'm trying to be a friend, and
Hmm.
I should be more of a parent in certain situations.
Right.
It's just my personal interaction skills
Hmm.
that sometimes bleed over into my
Right.
parenting skills. So I
Hmm.
have to learn how to be a little bit more stern on certain things. But I feel the benefit from me having an open relationship with my daughter is that she gets to understand how I think, how I
Right.
operate,
Hmm.
and how she could look at that when she decides who she wants to be with,
Right.
and have that same type of model or same type of structure she'll look for.
You're right. You're right. You're right. So that's what there's another thought I had in my mind about the child support situation also, and everything's true.
Mhm.
What I advise people is stay away from the private sector controlling how much your child gets.
I,
It's
I
not beneficial to the child.
I advise coming across the table, even if you have to have a third person or a neutral friend,
Hmm.
sit sit there in the middle so y'all can both have a conversation without going at each other.
Right.
Be that mediator in that situation and come across with each other what is comfortable between the both of you
Right.
to take care of your child or
Right.
children, for those of you who have more than one child and are giving child support. Yeah, I should be able to sit down and discuss this. It's not a matter of you and that other person anymore. It's about
Hmm.
the child and what they need moving forward. And
When the thing is that when you have a child, your ego is checked at the door for
yeah,
both of you.
I'm gonna tell you personally, I had to check myself on that situation. I had
Hmm.
to check myself. I had to put my emotions on the table like, yo, this doesn't matter.
Hmm.
My wife has talked to me on numerous occasions like, yo, you have to put these emotions and feelings that you feeling, hold on to that. But
Right.
when you're dealing with your children, it has nothing to do with the situation. Has nothing to do with the situation. Your emotions have nothing to do with the situation.
Right.
Bottom line, they need to be taken care of, and you need to have some type of structure with that child.
Right.
That's the bottom line. Any outside person can't interfere with that. You can't allow that to interfere
Hmm.
with that dynamic.
Right.
You and and the other parent, y'all shouldn't be going back and forth in that situation.
Nah. Not
It's
at all.
it's not beneficial to any one of you. How you gonna move forward? So
How
the
can you?
same structure is gonna be passed on to your child. Your child takes that information. Oh, this is this is normal.
Hmm.
This is normal. So
It's not normal.
you're gonna get another baby daddy in the situation instead of a husband,
Right. Right.
or you're gonna be a baby daddy instead
Yeah.
of a husband.
Exactly.
Nah, we don't need that. We need
No.
more. We need more resolutions in the situation, and we need to mediate between parents and have them discuss what is beneficial for the child in
Right.
those situations. Even if it's one parent calling the other parent, I have this trip coming up. I need help with this.
You should watch your child. Then you just pick the child from school.
Right.
But don't tell them at the last minute either. That's the disrespectful too. Don't tell them at the last minute. Give them
Yeah.
ample time for them to plan that shit, so they know they
Yeah.
got to work. They got to work and all that. So they got to find a way to plan that around their job.
Not only that, but in their personal finances.
Exactly. Well, working is a personal finance.
Right.
You know, a lot of people slaving. People slaving
Right.
at the shitty ass jobs that they're working at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey,
You're working at McDonald's
you know, McDonald's. Hey, listen, McDonald's get paid $15 an hour
now.
in New York. So
let's
you know,
let's go back to the 450.
there you go. There you go. Um, it's a situation that we need to solve as a community, the minority community,
Yeah.
to enable us to put ourselves in a better position. All child support does is keeps the minority community down.
Well, are we
Create
gonna?
creates a
I don't.
vision.
I've never agreed with an outside source being involved in my personal.
Right.
Never,
They have
never.
no they have no vested interest in you.
No, they don't have a vested interest in you.
Only vested interest to make sure you down.
If you're down, you give me money.
Absolutely.
If you're down, you give me money. That's what I wanted from the
Give me some
beginning.
money.
Thank
Give me
you for
some.
coming to me so I can
Uh
take this person's money. And don't worry, I'll keep him in that position so I can get my money. Oh, you'll
Exactly.
get something out of it too. Not as
Exactly.
much as not as much as you were wanting, but you'll
Right.
still get something.
Yeah, listen. Absolutely.
Listen, keep chasing that carrot.
Hmm.
You're
Listen.
never gonna get the whole.
Never. Never get the whole. Never gonna get the whole. Get partial.
You'll get partial. You'll never get the whole.
Shit, you may get $25.
Come on.
$25 maximum.
I put it on the table. I'd rather sit there and discuss uh, a good financial plan between me and you. Put it on the
Hmm.
table, and now it's up to me to honor that. It's up to me to honor that contract that we have between one another.
Come together and set up a college fund for the child. That if that's not the best way of if that's not the best way of mutual child support, I don't know what is.
You know,
Come see me for that too. I also do that too. I do
I was gonna segue into that.
I do policies for that also, which you could use the funds for your child's college education. So you don't so they don't get stuck paying student loans, which they can never retire because they still got student loans to pay. You want your child to retire at 65. If not, you want your child to retire at 60.
Right,
The real talk is you don't know by the time your child reaches 60 years old, you may not have pension, you may not have social security.
right.
So you gotta protect. You gotta build their legacy from the time they come out of your stomach. If you want to come see me, definitely contact me. Email me at podcast@gmail.com or hit me up on my website, WFG Connects, Dominic A. Duthel. It's DOMINICKADUTHEL. Definitely hit me up on that website, see what we're talking about. And
Yeah.
maybe you could make some extra income doing what I do also.
Mm.
You know? Joey G's a partner of mine also, so we do this.
Yeah.
We do this. The reason why I thought about doing this podcast to educate people on real shit, not to sugarcoat it. A lot of people, when people go on these shows with politics, they do a lot of politics, politicize and sugarcoat things, which doesn't help anybody.
No.
A lot of people with the truth, they respect you more. To be honest with you, that's what I try to provide my clients when I do the financial planning and all that with them. And that's what I do with all my clients and when I do my phlebotomy cases and all that stuff. So I try to be, it makes no sense to project any shadiness, any distrust, and any lack of credibility to anybody. To be credible, I gotta have integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And if you make a mistake, apologize and give them the opportunity and give them reason why what you're gonna give them the reason what you're going give them something that what you're going to do to rectify the situation. Don't let it hang, because once your name lose integrity, once your name lose credibility, it is over.
Right.
It is over. Nothing you can do to get that shit back, because everybody gonna say, "Oh, this motherfucker is full of shit."
Right.
And that's what I'm not going to end the podcast now because I got my final words to say about the child support situation as well as other things. But you can definitely listen to my podcast, Joey G Radio, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, and there'll be a few more platforms also that will come up also in the near future. So definitely take a look at the podcast. We're gonna change. We're gonna deliver more variety of content, not just sports. Even though me and Joji are going to do another episode within either the next 24 hours. We're gonna do another episode. We're gonna talk about Colin Kaepernick. We're gonna talk about Myles Garrett Garrett and Mason Rudolph situation. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about that. And that's what we're going to do on this podcast, you know what I'm saying? But this is part one of the child support situation. Just want to hit you guys up on some, not the legal part of it situation, even though we did touch a little bit into legal, very small part.
Yeah.
In the actual logistics of child support.
Right.
We want to hit you with the emotional part.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
How it affects children.
How that affects the children. The honesty of what we've seen our friends go through, what we see our family members go through. We just hitting you with that perspective. Like I said, if you are offended by what I say, if you're offended by what Joey G's said on this podcast, we understand.
Yeah.
And we don't care.
At the same time, you have an opportunity to contact me on my email and jump on the podcast. Right. I mean, there's always gonna be a person out there that's gonna discredit what we say or not agree with what we say. I mean, it's opinion. Everybody has one.
Everyone has an opinion. That's what makes the world go round.
Everybody has an opinion, but at the end of the day, we should be able to sit there and discuss things. I should be able to take in your perspective and just digest it. I may not agree with it. I should be able to digest your point of view, give you mine, and just walk away from the conversation feeling like we had a good discussion, regardless if we were in agreement or not in agreement with the situation.
Exactly.
It falls too much into the category of popularity and how it came across, and I'm more pro than con and all that extra stuff. Nah, I've always been a devil's advocate in this situation, for lack of a better word. I've always been a devil's advocate in any situation because there are some times where I can 100% agree with this side, and there's sometimes where I can 100% agree with that side. But end of the day, I have my own mind. I have to sit there and discuss, or I have to sit there and weigh out what I value more in those situations.
Absolutely.
And what did I get from both sides of the situation, and then make an informed decision on that.
Absolutely. The most important thing about communication, there is no communication if there's there is no communication if there's no dialogue and no reception of the dialogue.
Right.
You could see
we'll be lost in our own thoughts.
Exactly. You can sit there and talk to the person to death. The person's not being receptive or not listening to what you're trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? There was never a conversation.
Right.
There was never true communication.
It was always a one-way conversation.
It was narrow-minded conversation.
Yeah.
And truth be told, that's why a lot of our relationships in this era have failed. Narrow-minded thinking.
Narrow-minded thinking.
Narrow-minded preference.
Narrow-minded preference. I will also say that the negation of the other person's feelings is a big part of that also.
That too.
The negation of somebody else's feelings.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but I was feeling like and that right there, that'll get you into trouble. That'll get you into trouble.
It will absolutely will. Absolutely will. And then, my man, bro, what's your final words on this podcast?
Take care of your children. I mean, take care of your children. In doing so, you have to have an open conversation with your other parent. Y'all sit down, y'all discuss the finances, and be open co-parents on the situation. I mean, you don't need a third party. If there was an activism that I could get behind right now, you do not need child support to dictate the amount of monies you and your other parent, your other co-parent, should divvy for your child. Yeah, y'all should sit there and y'all should work that out. Now, if you feel like the other person is going to renege on the deal and all of that, then by all means do that. But just know the consequences of having a third party in your business. You're not going to get the full amount that you were looking for. Never going to be satisfied in this situation. So, and your child is going to suffer in that process.
Absolutely.
Those are my words on that.
Okay, good. My final words is Big Dom, True Player, True Players Podcast. First and foremost, when you lay up with somebody and it does not work out, and a child, a bundle of joy comes out of it, a gift from God comes out from the sex that you had or the lovemaking you had, whatever you want to call it, it is your duty as both parents to raise that child spiritually, mentally, and financially. There is no debate about that. Doesn't matter if you're together or not. Shit happens. But that child must be taken care of by both parents for the child's sanity.
Mm-hmm.
The most influential part of the child's life is his first 7 years of life. Mm-hmm. It'll dictate to him how he'll be, not only how he goes through life, it definitely will dictate how he will relate to a significant other of his own.
Correct.
And how he raises his child. Like Daenerys Targaryen said in Game of Thrones, she's trying to break the wheel. Mm-hmm. It's time for us as a minority community, as minorities, to break the wheel of the broken family. I'm not saying that everyone must get married and have kids together and stay married. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is your kids are our future. Whether or not we're with that parent, other parent or not, is besides the point. Our job as parents is to provide the child the utmost dignity, respect, prestige, live a life the right way, and not become part of the system.
Correct.
That is our only job. Mm-hmm. If your child ends up in the system because of both y'all's selfishness, it is your fault, not the child's fault.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? It takes two to make a child. It takes two to raise a child. This community keep the child in check. If the community is all on board with the same type of thing that we all share, as raising a child with togetherness and with love and respect, our community will be so strong. It will be stronger than adamantium, stronger than vibranium. It'll be less of us in prison.
Right.
It'll be less broken families in the future. Mm-hmm. We'll have legacies that will last a generation forever.
Right.
That's what we as people, as minorities, should strive for. Because with the way we're going right now, it's just allowing the privileged to get one over on us. And that wheel has to be broken. Mm-hmm. It must be broken. Because truth be told, the only master in this universe is God himself. It's your man Big Dom with Joey G, True Players Podcast. Any comments, feedback on this podcast, email me, trueplayerspodcast@gmail.com. TRUPLAYAZ podcast@gmail.com. You know what I'm saying? Go on my Facebook page, True Players Podcast. I have a Facebook page. If you look for that, like the page. Provide comments on the page. This is a very important topic for everybody.
Subscribe.
It was on Spotify. It's on TuneIn Radio. It's on Spreaker. If it's on Anchor, subscribe. Want to generate a legacy for your children? Definitely hit me up. I could help you out with that, or take you through someone who could help you out with that. It's very important. You gotta build a legacy from the time your child is born. And trust me, it's never too late. You may not have as much, but it's never too late to build a legacy for your child.
True.
Never too late. No matter if they're 18 years old or not. Teach them about finances. Something that they definitely don't learn in that they're in now.
Right.
Me and Joey G went to Uniondale High School. We learned economics.
Mm-hmm. Accounting
and stuff like that. I bet you if you go into the schools now, they don't even teach that anymore. They don't know why they don't teach us that anymore? To keep us down.
Right. Why would I teach you how to take care of your monies?
When you can control the financial part of your existence, you are dominant.
Right. And you'll be self-sufficient.
You won't be looking for reparations.
No.
No. We're not going to be on GoFundMe. No. You'll be self-sufficient. Your family will be self-sufficient for generations to come in the future. But it starts with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I could help you with that. Joey G can help you with that. All you have to do is just hit us up. We'll show you the way. Like I said, I'm signing off. Joey G, signing off. Peace.
Peace.